Flex Zone Podcast back again on your airwaves for another marvelous Monday. Again, the only place giving you your sports how you want it when you need it. If you're watching right now, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe and comment down below. As we get ready, episode 338, keeping it great, discussing Frank Vogel. He gone for the Lakers. We talk about the NBA playoffs, get goofy with Crevonte, and so much more. I'm the host of the Moist God's favorite. Get ready for a new episode of the Flex Zone Podcast. Again, the only place giving you your sports how you want it, when you need it. We're going to count it down. Get those likes, get those comments in. Let us know your thoughts on Frank Vogel and everything going on in the world of sports here on the Flex Zone Podcast, right here on YouTube. What is going on, Flex Zone family? It's your boy, God's favorite host, the host of the Moist, back here on the Flex Zone Podcast for another live episode 338. Keeping it great here. The only place giving you sports, fellas, how you want it.
When you need it.
Back again in the man cave. Fantastic Four in the building yet again. This episode, as I mentioned, big time episode. Talking Frank Vogel, talking NBA playoffs, and so much more. Of course, we get goofy with Crevonte. If you're watching this video, thank you once again for subscribing and being a part of the Flex Zone family. Hit that like button, subscribe, and all those things that you need to know are down below, and we'll tell you throughout the show as well. Can't do it alone. Bad lead off. Big Raj, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Sorry for the delay. We having some technical difficulties, but we live and direct. We're here for another great show, and of course, we're going to definitely get goofy with Crevonte's Goofy of the Week. But like I said before, stay tuned for more videos during the week. We had that a tragic passing that we'll talk about shortly, but just stay tuned for more content.
Next man, right above him, the voice of reason, captain of the Goofy ship, Crevonte, baby.
Yo, what it do? Again, like Raj said, sorry for the delay, but Monday nights is always the fun nights, man. Our Mondays are better than most, brothers, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate y'all for it.
Keep the train moving next to him, as only he should be, captain of this here Flex Zone ship. Thought you David a cup of trade each and every morning on WEAA. Good morning, Baltimore. He's the super producer. He's the executive producer. He's the head of the sports podcast table, along with the Flex Zone Messiah, the champion, Andre, Drizzy J. Melton. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, America? Appreciate y'all for tuning into the Flex Zone. You already know I'm ready to get right to it.
theflexon1@gmail.com. Guest ideas want to be part of the show. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Comment down below on this here episode. We appreciate you tuning in. Unfortunately, like Rod said, we got to start with some sad news in the world of sports. This past Saturday, Dwayne Haskins was tragically killed while walking in Florida, hit, and did not make it, unfortunately. We're going to have a quick moment of silence, and we'll give our thoughts on Dwayne Haskins passing here on the Flex Zone Podcast. Take a moment of silence. May he rest in peace. Raj, you did a short on the YouTube channel. You can let people know how to watch that as well. And just your thoughts on just an unexpected story this past weekend.
Man, yeah, I did a short on the page. It was just a quick short, just to let everybody know what happened. But yeah, man, it was a very tragic accident that happened. I believe he was, I think, probably coming from practice, I believe, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, with Mitchell Trubisky and a couple of the wide receivers. He was putting in some work, getting ready for the season. And I think he had stopped somewhere on the highway, I believe, and he got hit by a truck or something like that. But yeah, man, it was very unexpected, very terrible news. I never want to hear something like that happen to a person. I know Dwayne, he wasn't the top-notch quarterback on Pittsburgh or anything like that, but he was getting his life together. He was pretty much getting right. He was basically, I think he was going to have a comeback. I felt that he was going to have a comeback. This year probably was going to be his comeback year to be, a starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers, or at least be, trying to be a starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it's just very sad, man. Very, very sad. So my prayers go to his family, his teammates, his friends. It's a horrible situation, and hopefully, Pittsburgh and his family can do right by the brother. But it's just a bad situation all the way around.
Yo, I can't.
Sorry
hear you,
about
bro.
that. Sorry about that.
Oh,
I was going to you next, Crevonte. You're the Ohio State football fan. He was drafted by you, now Washington Commanders. Unfortunately, didn't work out with them. Now he's in Pittsburgh, but just a tragic situation all along. Like Rod said, looked like he had a chance maybe to make a comeback this year.
Yeah, it was absolutely devastating. One of my guys who I was actually in New York at the time, and I got a text from one of my friends, and he said Dwayne Haskins dies in a car crash. I mean, he got hit by a car, and I'm like, what, yo, what? Like, my kind of messed me up. I'm like, what? Am I reading this right? And sure enough, right as he said that, I got a bunch of notifications saying, he was he basically got hit by a car. And the reports over the weekend was kind of weird, because I'm like, yo, like, what you mean? Like, he's in South Florida working out. I was like, all right, that's not weird. People do that all the time. But then it was like he got hit by a car, and then it went to he got hit by a dump truck. So I'm like, yo, like, what, a dump truck? I need a lot more information, because this sounded real fishy. You know what I'm saying? And to hear that, it seems as though he was trying to cross the highway. I hate to hear it, man. I absolutely hate to hear a young brother trying to get his life together. He wasn't the most, mature while he was with the Washington football team, now the Commanders. But, he went to the Ohio State. He was a amazing athlete, amazing quarterback. It just didn't work out. It just didn't work out for us, and that's fine, but it was a growing experience. And I think him going to obviously a better organization, a more stable organization, I feel like it was only right for him to get better from that. And just to see it cut short before we was able to see it to the end, it really, really, really sucks. My heart goes out to his wife, and his family. My hearts and prayers go out to them. Honestly, I see a lot of support from the Washington fan base, and of course the Ohio State fan base. This one hurts, because we all saw the potential for Haskins. He had a rough patch, but he's young. That those things happen, but for it to be cut short before we could see the potential to the end, it's absolutely heartbreaking. I absolutely hate to hear it. I'm sure more stories are going to come out, because I mean, obviously, I'm sure just like his family, we all still have questions like, why, what's up, how did this happen, why did this happen, like. But it's not the time for that. Obviously, from the Flex Zone, if I can speak for y'all, we definitely send our condolences to his family, his wife, the Ohio State family, the Pittsburgh Steelers family, because even in his short time there, a lot of people had a lot of great things to say about him. So, he was a great man. He was a great person, a great young man at the end of the day. And I hate to see that happen to him. So he made an impact. He made an impact for Washington and, of course, Ohio State. So hearts and prayers go out to all of those fan bases and his family.
Dre, get your thoughts on it.
I mean, it's just it's an unfortunate situation, especially because he was so young, and like Crevonte was saying that the promise was there. I mean, coming out of the Ohio State and um, with Washington, you were hoping, but I mean, things happen in sports where second chances happen, and he was able to get another chance with a more stable organization like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, there was a chance for him to be a starting quarterback, being that Ben Roethlisberger has retired, so the quarterback position was wide open, and you were just hoping that he could, make some strides and being the franchise quarterback. He's trying to train and get ready, and then this happens, and not only cutting his life short, but just the potential that he could have had because he was so young, and it's really a sad situation that goes beyond sports. I mean, we talked about Kobe, but at least Kobe had a chance to have a career, but Haskins didn't really have much of a career, and um, you feel sorry for him, his family right now, and what they all could be just going through right now. So definitely, our thoughts and prayers go out to the Haskins family, and you see the tremendous support from the DC fan base, what they've been able to do for as far as like the Capitals and what they've been doing at the Capital One Arena for him, the tributes that have gone out for him. So definitely our thoughts and prayers go out to his family throughout this tragic situation.
Yes, may he continue to rest in peace. Such a tragic situation, like you said, is so young. But Dre, not to really lighten the mood too much because it's really tragic when then somebody loses their job. But your Los Angeles Lakers, you, Raj, and D, to be specific, made a decision that we all saw coming from a mile away. Pretty much, this guy was going to be the fall guy. He was going to take the blunt of the blame, good, bad, or indifferent. Granted, he just won a championship a year and a half ago. But Dre, I know you heard the news today. Frank Vogel, see you later. He's gone.
Um, I didn't think Frank Vogel was all that of a head coach, but I thought that he did a good job. And I think that the blame can't fully be on him. And I know some people want to say, well, he could have did this as a coach, he could have did that. But I mean, at the same time, um, you took away his really good players. I mean, there were so many things that the front office did, not giving him the proper people to make things happen. And they're saying that he kind of lost the locker room, so that's what ultimately got him let go. But it's not fully on Frank Vogel, and I hate that he had to be the fall guy in this situation. But the Lakers front office needs a lot of work. You start with Russell Westbrook. We talk about the GM LeBron James, but I mean at the same time, it's also proof as to why sometimes you can't always listen to your superstar player and sometimes make moves that you think are best for you. Granted, I think that it is, and we talk about an unfortunate situation, but I mean, the whole DeMar DeRozan thing, the more and more this thing comes out saying that he had talks and he was over LeBron's house only to be the rug pulled from under him, and then they go with Westbrook over DeMar DeRozan. And you understand the move as to why they got Westbrook in there, being that he's had a bigger name. He hasn't really had a team that had potential to make a finals outside of that time that him and KD were with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So it's Los Angeles, that he's from California, so you would think that okay, this is like a coming home. He could really make some noise, and it just wasn't that type of situation. And that things like that happen sometimes in sports, but it's I gotta have my hat off to my good brother, my good friend, because he was right, and he knows I hate to say that he's right, but when he's right. Damn it. So Russell Westbrook has proven if you can't work with LeBron James, Kevin Durant, I mean, the list could go on and on, but it's proven that Westbrook just isn't the guy that just works with people. He's better off with his own team at a smaller market, but working with superstars is just not it. I think he's no doubt a first ballot Hall of Famer, but clearly the Westbrook experiment did not work with the Lakers. And also, you need to look into Anthony Davis and buffing up that bench too, because you need scoring and you need defense as well. And the Lakers just really didn't have that. They got rid of some key pieces that could have helped them this season, and they need to do some things because right now the West is not wide open anymore. You know, you got teams such as the Suns out there. I mean, the Mavericks have made improvements. I mean, you know, you already know what Denver's going to do with Joker. So, yes, Mark. Yes, we're saying leave Westbrook alone. We'll let Westbrook at this point because I don't know what he's doing out there, but he's not the answer, and it's really messed up because you know you hear that they could have got Buddy Hill as well. Maybe they still can in the trade. I don't know what their plan is moving forward, but they definitely got to make some moves. Westbrook is the first thing. Then you got to work on the rest of your roster. Hopefully Anthony Davis will come back healthy, but I don't know if he's even tradable at this point. So because you still need him for size, but if your soldier's not available, then what good are you? The best ability is availability. And when you're not available to help your team, what's the point? And it's really messed up because Anthony Davis is so young. You would think Anthony Davis and LeBron James switch places. You would think that Anthony Davis would be the older player, but LeBron James is more available than Anthony Davis, missing over 30 games the past 2 seasons. I mean, Charles Barkley was right calling them street clothes. Because what good are you if Anthony Davis is there? They'd probably be in the playoff picture. But things just didn't pan out this season, and it's unfortunate that Frank Vogel had to take the fall for this team. But that's what happens when you have a team such as the Los Angeles Lakers and you have those high expectations.
Real quick, Raj, before you go, the Lakers. Fun fact, Crevonte, do not have a first-round draft pick until 2027. So they can't trade anybody.
Damn
Draft. How do you want to trade for anybody? Draft?
Damn LeBron.
Is it my turn yet?
Shout out to Nick. Yes, it is your turn. Hold on. What's up, Nick?
The ghost of Kobe?
There you go. That's why you had to go get the jersey, man?
Bro, I am so disappointed in this team, man. I know. Now, granted, I didn't have that much expectations this year for this Laker team because they got Russell Westbrook, but never in a million years that I think this team was going to finish the way they did. From start to finish, this team has been straight up garbage. From start to finish, from the opening game until now, they have been trash. And I'm not going to blame everything on Russell Westbrook. This is totally not all of his fault. But this is a combination of things. From LeBron James thinking he's the GM, you know, getting Westbrook instead of getting DeMar DeRozan and Buddy Hill, and keeping Caruso and keeping Caldwell Pope, the guys that can play defense on your team. I thought that was a mistake. From Anthony Davis not training his body in the offseason. Didn't you learn from last season that didn't you learn from your whole career that you stay getting hurt? Come on. This man missed almost 42 games this year.
And Roz, the sad part is he claims that he does things right in the offseason.
Like what? What does he do? What does he do? He doesn't follow LeBron around. That's what he should be doing. He should be following LeBron around and getting his body tight. But he missed about 42 games this year. And LeBron James, that's another one. He missed about 50. Well, he only played 56 games this year. So he missed a handful of games as well. But my whole thing is this. The chemistry of this team was completely off. The roster itself was lackluster. I mean, I like Carmelo Anthony, and I thought Malik Monk could shoot, but other than that, they didn't play defense at all. So, and I asked the question on the YouTubes. I asked, is it fair for Frank Vogel to be fired? No, I don't think this is on him. To me, this is not his fault. He was coaching for what he had out there. He did his best, in my opinion. They just did not respond. They didn't want to play defense. He's a defensive coach. I mean, I'm like, bruh. I'm like, come on, LeBron. Come on, Anthony Davis. Come on, Russell Westbrook. If you can't shoot, at least defend. At least keep the people under 100 points. They did none of that. The whole season. They did none of that. They couldn't defend. They couldn't shoot. They couldn't stop nobody. And it was so frustrating watching them a lot of times when they played Golden State or when they played Denver or when they played the Pacers or Oklahoma City. I mean, it don't matter what team it was. They found a way to lose to them. I'm like, bro, the worst of the worst was beating them. So I'm like, I'm so glad. Like I said before, I'm so glad that the season is over with. I feel bad for Frank Vogel. I don't think this is his fault. I believe he deserves to get a head coaching job, but to put the blame on him and what's even worse is this. To be I think it was Waj who told him that he was fired yesterday, and the team told him he was fired today. So he has to find out from Waj on the internet that you're being fired right after the game at the press conference. I'm like, bro, like where's the where's the professionalism of this team? What is going on? I mean, Janie, what are you doing? I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Janie Buss. I'm so glad Janie, took over for Jim Buss, because Jim Buss was even worse than this. But still, the fact that he had to find out right after the game that he's getting fired. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here as a franchise? And then I be hearing like Kurt Rambis and Linda Rambis is having a lot of conversations backstage. They trying to get in on the act and trying to coach. I'm like, Kurt Rambis, the guy that got clotheslined in the 80s? Are you serious? Like, bruh, y'all got to get it together, man. Y'all got to get it together. LeBron, I commend you for still being able to play the way you play and averaging over 30. But bro, you play no defense at all. Russell, I need you to come in with an attitude that you want to win a championship next year. Because I don't think nobody's gonna pick you up. Ain't nobody trading for you. You're gonna be stuck with the Lakers. And so is Anthony Davis, because nobody's trading for him either. He can't even stay on the damn court half of the time. So I don't think this team is going nowhere. I think they're all gonna stay together. The only thing that's going to change is the role players. Hopefully Carmelo comes back, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah, man, it is a mess in L.A. They don't have a first-round pick. I'm not sure what's going to happen, and I'm not sure who the head coach is going to be either. That's going to be a mystery as well. But, yeah, man, I think it was unfair for Frank Vogel to get fired. But they stopped listening to him for whatever reason. And right now, this team is a cluster Franklin, as D would call them. This is exactly what this is, a big cluster Franklin.
Oh, Raj, don't forget Jason Kidd as well. What he's doing with the Mavericks.
Oh man, Luka Doncic, man. Look, I thought that trade was terrible, but Spencer Dinwiddie, man, hats off to him, man. He finds ways to make teams better, besides the Wizards, and they getting rid of Porzingis was the best thing that the Mavericks could have ever done, because now they actually look like a team that can actually make it out the first round and make it probably to the Western Conference Finals. Who knows?
Go ahead, Crevonte.
Hey man, I think they covered just about everything. I think we knew Frank Vogel wasn't the guy. I feel as though once we found out that he's going to be the head coach over Jason Kidd, it was like, yeah, his days are numbered, because you just need a certain personality to be the head coach of a LeBron James led team. And on top of LeBron James, this is LA. This is the Lakers. Yeah, everything's big in, like how they say everything's big in Texas. everything's bigger in Hollywood, especially when it comes to the entertainment side of things. And we saw this coming. And I always go back to the fact that they got a championship out of this, even one, it's a win. Whatever else happens after that, it is what it is. It's like we knew we were on. This wasn't gonna last forever because LeBron James is, even though he's not playing like it, he's nearing the end of his prime. You know what I'm saying? So he's not at the point where he can carry a team no more. And he's not just carrying a team, he's carrying a team of superstars, which in my opinion is probably heavier than carrying a bunch of bums. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, you carrying heavier people. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, from Jump Street, they were old. Everybody else pretty much is outside their prime. I thought the Russell Westbrook trade was the goofiest trade you could make. The only good thing that came out of it was that he left my team. that was the only thing that good came out of it. And I feel like you can't blame this on Westbrook because Westbrook has only showed you that he's going to be Westbrook his entire career. Like, I don't know what folks expected of him except what just happened. That's the guy. Like, for him to get any blame is absurd. Obviously, the head coach is the fall guy usually. On with a team with a superstar, it doesn't work out. The head coach is usually the fall guy, especially somebody to the caliber of LeBron James. Yeah, the head coach or the GM, somebody in the front office, either the front office or the head coach got to go. That's just how it goes, especially in the NBA. The Lakers did look pitiful the entire year. I agree with Roger, the entire year. I did not think it was going to be this bad. As far as like not even making a play-in, that was surprising. Not going to hold you. I did not predict that at the beginning of the year. I mean, we joked, and I would say like, oh, they're not even gonna make the playoffs, but I thought at least they would make the play-in. For them to fall all the way out the play-in is surprising. But the way that it was going, we saw it slowly unfolding, and then they tried to bring Anthony Davis back. I'm like, he's at like 67%. Like, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? But it starts with Frank Vogel, and he won't be the only domino to fall.
Crevonte, to your point, they were 5-13, I believe, after the All-Star break. So they barely won 5 games. And last night's game was just a throwaway because Denver already knew they were playing the Warriors. But I'll start with you, Crevonte. Who do you think should be the next coach? We're hearing Mark Jackson. We heard Quinn Snyder possibly from the Jazz. I'm not sure what other names are being thrown around, but any thoughts on who should be the next coach?
I would love for Mark Jackson to get back into coaching. I would absolutely love that personally, because we all know how it ended in Golden State. It was BS, and I do think he deserves another head coaching job. Will he get it? Maybe not, because you know that the whole blackball thing is real. But I'm gonna throw a wild name out there right now. Juwan Howard. I'm gonna throw that name out there right now. His days in Michigan might be numbered after that. But in a weird way, he could bring a different type of fire. A different type of fire to LA. Mike Dan Antoni.
No, Nick. No, Nick. No. Not damn phony. No phonies over here.
Mike Dan Antoni, I hate him. I hate Nick.
Real quick, let me chime into that though. There's rumors saying that he could, if he does make a return, it would be in Philadelphia to help James Harden out.
Help? We haven't seen this. we ain't seen this movie before.
That's just a rumor right now.
No, but no, I understand because I've heard it too. But I'm like, what is that proving? Because you've had so much success before. I'm just saying I don't think Mike Dan, or Tony is going to help James Harden's woes in the playoff.
He can't even have his own woes in the playoffs.
He has his own exactly. But as far as coaches, like I said, I would love to see Mark Jackson, but I'm just throwing Juwan Howard out there for talking purposes. But yeah, I mean that's about it.
Dre, looks like you agree not only with potentially getting Juwan Howard or a black brother in there, you believe Rob Pelinka should go, and who do you want to be the coach?
Hell yeah, get rid of Rob Pelinka. I mean, honestly, I think the only thing that's attached to Rob Pelinka all this time is the fact that he was Kobe's agent. Like, I think that's the only thing that's helped this man with this franchise. But I mean, outside of that, this thing just been like they said, a cluster of Franklin from jump. Anytime that you have Magic Johnson, who got LeBron to sign with the Lakers in the first place, and some of the drafting that he was doing, yet Magic couldn't really do his job. You already knew it was like Crevonte said. The fact that they got one championship out of this whole ordeal screams volumes, because they've been just messing this whole thing up from Jump Street. Like Uncle Rod said, the Rambuses, I don't know why they're listening to the Rambus family. I legit don't know that part. Then you hear that Frank the guru. I don't know why he's back in Jeannie Buss's life either, but the Zen master, but for some reason he's in her ear too. So I mean, this whole thing is just
Phil Jackson. Hey. Well, I'm sorry to cut you off, Dre. That's what I want the head coach to be. I want Phil Jackson. Back.
Here's you fine on kids, but here's the issue though. Remember what he said about LeBron's
I don't give a damn what he said about LeBron or his posse. Yeah. I want LeBron. I want Phil Jackson as the head coach of Los Angeles Lakers, and only because of one reason and one reason only, because he will demand respect and he has cachet. I don't see anybody else being head coach of this team, honestly, and them responding to a person other than Greg Popovich, who's with the Spurs. But the only person I can see that can gain respect from this franchise, who's done it before plenty of times, over 5 times, is Phil Jackson.
You don't think that you don't think Mark Jackson could come in there and command respect?
No.
You don't think that if they kept Jason Kidd, he could have commanded respect?
Maybe Jason Kidd could have, but Jason Kidd is definitely not coming back. So, the only person I can really see is Phil.
Well, I mean that's the only issue, because trust me, I would love for the Zen Master to come back too, but I think that's the issue though, because LeBron doesn't, especially because LeBron saw what happened with the Carmelo Anthony situation. So you have LeBron, you got Carmelo Anthony there. He's left a sour taste in their mouth, so it's not going to work.
Probably not.
But I mean,
either way, we're screwed.
We can dream, and hopefully things get patched up. But honestly speaking, that's the reality of the situation. I would definitely love for Mark Jackson to be in there. I like what Crevonte was saying about Juwan Howard. I think that he would definitely make an impact. But I'm not sure who would be in there, because I think this team's issues isn't just a head coaching issue. I think it's more than that. I think I said they're messing up in the front office.
They need a new trainer. They need a diet plan. They need a lot of stuff.
They need everybody. They need everything in there right now. And this isn't what we do in Laker Nation. This is just a hot mess.
Do you think that the triangle will work in 2022? Nick is a Bulls fan, doesn't think it would.
I think it would work. I mean, honestly speaking,
it would help Anthony Davis. I'll tell you that.
They'll even tell you, John Staley. I've heard him say it. Scotty, like Shaq, Kobe.
You might be on to something, Kev. I didn't think about Nick Nurse.
But the triangle works. It's just you need the proper pieces in there for it to work. It can still work in today's game, honestly, even with the advancement of the 3. you can make it work. But I mean, part of the reason that the Zen Master's been able to do what he's been able to do is because he's had excellent pieces to execute his offense. You have LeBron James there. LeBron can execute that offense. It's just a matter of who you're going to put along with him. And we
you
don't
got
know.
two. You got two of the top 75 players of all time. If you cannot figure that out, the triangle offense, then you don't need to be coaching.
We need to. We honestly need to relook at that list too.
We're not dealing with just any top 75 player. We're dealing with Russell Westbrook. Just because you put two top guys together, we've seen it. We've seen this happen before, and it not work. This ain't the first time you put two great players together and it not work. So like I said, for him to get a championship out of this, y'all won. Y'all won. All right, the experiment worked because the experiment worked. You got a championship out of it. It worked for a little. This was never a long-term thing.
The pandemic helped.
Pandemic helped. Everybody. Little did everybody know it's in the record books as a championship, but we all know how 2020 went down. So, but all in all, a championship is a championship, no matter how you slice it. So, short term, which is what this was, it worked. This was never supposed to be a long-term thing. It just sucks how it crashed and burned. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never, let me not say never, I don't know about never, but at least in recent memory, even when Lakers wasn't good in the latter stages of like Kobe's career, it was still like they were very relevant because Kobe gave it his all, no matter what. But the Lakers now, even though LeBron is out there giving it his all, it looks different. It just looks different, and it's not Laker-like. At least me,
That's facts.
So to the Nick Nurse thing, Kev, I don't think Nick Nurse is leaving Toronto because Toronto might beat Philly in the first round.
Hey, now.
Just saying.
They firing everybody. If the Sixers lose in the first round, they firing everybody.
Hey, listen to me. If Doc Rivers loses in the first round again, they should take away all of his fake hair, sheen.
What is that?
All of it needs to go.
What is that?
All that paint on top of his head needs to go completely. He just be straight ball.
Well, the Sixers have a couple players who aren't vaccinated, and you know that whole fiasco in Toronto, so that could play a part. So we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah,
Philly,
that's right. Matisse, I
yep,
believe.
Thabo. Yeah,
they better win all their home games.
They got to win their home games, but they do have the two best players in the series, so they shouldn't lose. But Toronto plays as hard as anybody. But Nick Nurse, the Lakers will have to give up a whole lot to get him from Toronto. But let us know in the comments what you guys think of the Frank Vogel firing. Is it fair, like Raj posted in the video? And who should be the Lakers' next head coach? We heard Mark Jackson, Jason Kidd is gone. We heard Juwan Howard. We heard Raj wants Phil Jackson back. I like Quinn Snyder from the Jazz. I think he's a good coach, but we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, speaking of the NBA playoffs, they get ready to get set actually tomorrow with the play-in this week. So that makes the season a little bit more exciting as we head towards the latter part of it, with the games actually meaning something for seeding and people actually playing for something. Just an overview, I guess. Let's start with initial thoughts on the playoffs. Raj, I'll start with you. What's one thing you look forward to seeing in the playoffs, and what are you expecting to see so far? And then we'll get predictions later.
Well, none of my teams are in the playoffs this year, so I'm gonna still watch it. I'm still gonna be invested, but I kind of want to see the Wizards.
Hey Nick, that also requires patience. I guess he forgot that part.
I kind of wanted to see the Lakers and Wizards in there, but they're not in there. But the key things I'm looking for in these playoffs is this: can the Milwaukee Bucks repeat? That's definitely the first one that I'm looking for. Also, I want to see what the Phoenix Suns do. I want to see what Chris Paul can do. Can he make it back to the NBA Finals? I also want to see Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. Yes. I want to see how far they can make it. I want to see if this is not a fluke, if they're the next best thing smoking, during these playoffs, because they're a very young team, but they are very, very, very good. Especially DeAnthony Melton. DeAnthony Melton playing his behind off. And Desmond.
We know that guy. So, we know that guy.
Yeah, yes, we do. We got to get him on the show one day. That would be fantastic.
Word, word.
I definitely want to see the Grizzlies. I want to see Philadelphia. I want to see if James Harden and Joel Embiid can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Can Joel Embiid take his team to the NBA Finals? I know he's been playing his ass off. He's been playing great this whole regular season. He might be the MVP by the end of the season. Well, he might be MVP in a couple weeks. We don't know yet, but this is what I want to see, man. I definitely want to see if Brooklyn can get there as well. Is Ben Simmons going to finally suit up? Is he going to play in the playoffs? I mean, is he going to be a factor? I mean, these are questions I have, man. But we're gonna hear the answers to them in a couple weeks.
His therapist won't let him. His therapist won't let him.
And last one, Golden State. Is Steph Curry going to be ready for the playoffs? Is James Wiseman going to be playing? I mean, this team is
Wiseman out for the year, Raj. He's already been ruled out for the year. Wiseman.
He's out for the whole playoffs too?
Yep. He's done.
Okay.
Dang.
All right. Well. Okay. Well, screw that part. Is Steph Curry going to come back and make it an impact? That's what I want to know. So these playoffs is going to be very exciting, very very exciting playoffs. Even without the Lakers or the Wizards or whoever, it's still a great storyline to see. I mean, now we're going to finally see, everybody be healthy, hopefully, and playing to their best potential. Because during the regular season, which they got to really change, man. I understand what Adam Silver's trying to do, but he's going to have to tighten up on some of these players, man. Because we do want to see y'all out there on the court. We don't want to see y'all taking games off and breaks during the season. You got to get out there and you got to play, especially if you're making over $20+ million every year. Nah, bro. We want to see you out there on the court. So when they have that player, that bargaining agreement and a couple, maybe a year or two, some things going to have to change. But right now, these are the playoffs. So I expect to see hard basketball played. I expect to see all these teams go at it, in a very, very gracious manner. And I expect to see whoever's going to be the champion, earn it like how Milwaukee did last year.
Crevonte, I'll go to you. What you looking forward to, brother?
I'm looking forward to okay, so I'm not a believer in the top seed in the East. And we're literally they're the quietest number one seed ever. I feel like they're gonna lose in the first round. Like that's what I'm feeling, because I don't know. I'm not sure what the issue is. Like, they win a lot of games, but it's like what is it like? I feel like maybe they don't have that consistent go-to guy on any given night. We know what Jimmy Butler is and what he can do, but he's not consistent with what they need. So what's probably going to happen is they're probably going to lose in the first round. Hawks Hornets, maybe not the first round. Maybe not the first round, because I just realized Hawks and the Hornets are 9-10, so maybe not the first round. But I don't think they're going to go as high as their seed is letting on to believe. I agree with Raj. I think the Milwaukee Bucks is a team to beat in the East. And honestly, I don't think it's really close. I think the Nets are going to come on too late. I think they'll get past. They'll get out the play-in and probably play the Celtics, which the Celtics aren't no slouches. So that's not going to be easy. So, I mean, the Bucks are going to have the Bulls and the Nets. That means they will play 2-7, right? 2-7. So the Bucks will either play, I think they're going to beat the Bulls. They'll play either the Celtics or the Nets. And I think they'll beat either one of them right now. So I can see the Bucks very much in the Eastern Conference Championship again and probably wanting to go back to the championship. Now in the West, I'm very excited, like you said, Raj, for John Morant, and I'm really excited for the Dallas Mavericks to see what Jason Kidd could do in these playoffs. They got the Jazz. A Jazz first-round exit would be crushing for Donovan Mitchell. And he would have to kind of put his Damian Lillard hat on and probably turn it sideways, because you listen, they might have hit their ceiling. The Utah Jazz, that is. They might have hit their ceiling.
Don't forget also, Crevonte, Luka got hurt yesterday, calf strain, so we don't know his status either. And he's been out in the first round. Remember last year they were up 2-0 on the Clippers, and they went to bed.
They claim
And
it's
lost
not
it.
serious.
What
So
happened?
we'll see.
Oh.
The claim is not serious, so we'll see.
Well, we've heard calf strains turn into other things.
We'll see how serious or not serious it is when he ain't playing.
Both, but Crevonte, you're right. Both of those teams need a first round win.
Bad.
But if Utah does get bounced in the first round, don't be surprised if Quinn Snyder does go to the Lakers, their coach.
Okay,
very much so.
Yeah, so that would be my theory if it happens.
I was very high on the Golden State Warriors until the most devastating thing that could happen in sports. Steph Curry gets hurt. So it looks like, honestly, we might see a repeat in the championship. I think the Suns, with the Warriors not being 100% healthy, I think the Suns have I'm not gonna say clear path because it I don't think it's any easier than it was last year, but it's doable. It's doable for them to go back. And that would be my prediction is to see the Suns and the Bucks in the championship again.
Well, Raj, let me get your final prediction, then I'll get Dre's thoughts and prediction real quick.
Okay. About what? About the who's
your
gonna make
prediction
it
for the finals? Are you going with your Milwaukee pick again?
I'm going back with Milwaukee again. I think Milwaukee's getting back to the finals. And my Western Conference pick, I'm gonna go with Golden State. I think Steph is gonna be all right. I think they're gonna find a way to get out of the West. I think they're the best team, to be honest with you, in the West. So I think they're gonna make the finals. I think Milwaukee's gonna make the finals. It's gonna be out of those two teams.
Go ahead, Dre.
See, Mark. See, I was just with the Warriors not 100%. It looks pretty clear.
It looks clear, but I think Steph is coming back.
Oh, if Steph comes back, all bets are off.
I will. I'm starting to lean towards a rematch of last year's finals. If I'm going to just make a straight up prediction, it's crazy because in the beginning of the season we were talking about the Nets and the Lakers. Nets barely making it the damn selves over here at the 7th seed. I mean, who would think the Nets? I don't see them going too far. I don't think KD can bear all that responsibility. I know he's got Kyrie there, but this season just a dub to me for them. And if that's another team, if they don't make any noise after next season, blow it up. At this point, if I'm Brooklyn. The Celtics in the East, they're surprised. The Bulls started out real hot, but I told y'all I didn't believe in the Bulls, and look at them at the 6th seed. The defending champs right there at the number 3 seed. And it's so many question marks outside of the Bucks. I mean, Miami. Jimmy Butler's talented, but yet if you asked any of us right here, sitting right here, to name some top 10 players in the NBA, we're not putting Jimmy Butler on there. Let's just be real. We like Jimmy, but he's just not it. So I don't feel like Miami can really go too far. The 76ers, we don't know what's going on with that situation because we thought that we thought that James Harden would be a great fit in there, but I don't honestly. I think that they now I would hope that they get past Toronto, but I don't got them making it to the finals as a lot of people are saying. So I just believe in the Bucks in the East, and then in the West, I think that the Memphis, I think they're too young. I think that Golden State. The only issue to me stopping Golden State is injuries. Golden State's just been so up and down with the injuries. I think that the Nuggets, the Jazz, and the Mavericks, they're on that same pedigree of we should be more than what we are, but we're kind of content as to where we are. So I just believe in the Suns and the Bucks in a rematch. But I definitely am tuned in to the playoffs because I think that this is the best basketball that you get. And all these matchups honestly are very intriguing, but especially like last year we're talking about like when we talking about the Hawks and the coming out party of Trae Young. So to see a play-in game with Trae Young and LaMelo Ball, that's going to be to me some must-see TV right there. That game alone. So I think that, like I said, I'm looking forward to the playoffs, but just on paper and just looking at matchups and everything, those are the two favorites. I just see a rematch right now of last year's NBA Finals, and there's nothing wrong with that. But both teams have just to me elevated themselves. Devin Booker, who was an MVP candidate, and now you got Giannis out there. Giannis has been doing his thing, and it's been like kind of quiet because I think that this season has been so brushed between what's going on with the Brooklyn Nets and what's going on with the Los Angeles Lakers. But Giannis has been, doing. I mean, in the whole. Also, you got factoring James Harden as well. But Giannis has quietly been doing his thing, which is insane to me that the defending champ, who's also been in the MVP conversation, has been quiet because of the other dramas that's been going on in the NBA, and has improved his game and could possibly get a back-to-back championships.
Well, we will be watching. Next week, we'll go more in depth of the series and look at what's going on and who's doing what so far as the playoffs start this week with the play-in starting tomorrow. Dre, one more thing we got to get into is this our sport of the week, and baseball's back. But I got to ask you, we know you are a Yankees fan. Aaron Judge didn't get a contract extension. They offered him 6 years, $217 million. Looks like he'll be a free agent at the end of the year. Is this the year that the Yankees have to get it done, or their window starts to close, Dre, as we look at MLB opening day?
I don't think that as long as they're the New York Yankees, I don't think that the window is closed. Judge has said that he wants to return as a Yankees fan. So I mean, as a Yankees player. So I don't think that as long as you have somebody that caliber, that superstar, I don't think that it's honestly closed. I was watching the game last night against the Red Sox, and we lost, but those things happen early on in the year. I'm not as enthused though this year. I will say that. In the past, you would have heard me on here and yelling to the top of my lungs that the Yankees are going to make it and the Yankees are back. But I just don't. I don't have that same feeling with that team this year. I feel like if I had to pick a favorite, I would roll with the Dodgers. But honestly, I think baseball kind of right now is wide open. I don't feel like there's a definitive favorite. I think that my Yankees. I think that they'll do good. I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think that they'll go too far because I don't think that they addressed all their issues in the off season. We have the similar to what the Orioles were. I think that we have the hitting, but we just don't have the pitching to match up. And I love it that the Yankees do try, but to me, it's just not enough. And I think that there's plenty of young pitching out there to that can stop them. I mean, you saw from this series with Boston, we have hitters, but I mean, if you have great pitching, that's gonna subside your great hitters. Aaron Judge struck out last night when the score was 4-3 at home, and Aaron Judge strikes out. So I'm just not as sold.
I got a quick question.
Fan, but also, go ahead.
Do they make the playoffs or not? That's all I'm.
I said they'll make the playoffs, and then I was going to say that the Orioles. I was going to touch on them real quick. I don't think that of course the Orioles not going to make the playoffs this year, but I think that we're going to start seeing. You're going to start seeing some light. It's a far light at you're at the far end of the tunnel. You only have a glimmer of light, but I think that you'll start seeing the hope come around for this team because of the farm system. I think that you will start seeing some real some things coming out of the Orioles. You're not gonna. I don't think that they'll have over 100 losses this year, but yeah, of course, like I said, they'll be long gone out of the race. But you'll start seeing, I think, some light this year with the Orioles.
Rod, how many pieces will you get this year because of the Orioles?
Well, I ain't getting one today. Although they won, I'm not getting one because I think they have to. I think they have to have at least 5 or 6
runs. They only had 3. They
So
don't
they only
score a
had
lot
2.
of runs.
Two.
Yeah, they're gonna.
They had 2.
Yeah, they're not gonna score a lot.
At least they won. So that they going on. They 1-3 to start off the season. Like I tell you all y'all all the time. I have no faith in the Orioles until they actually show me something. Until they actually want to do something. It's gonna be a really long season. It's gonna be a long season for the Orioles fans. But you know what? Shout out to them today for winning. Opening day was lit. I was able to get to work today on time easily, no traffic because everybody was down in Cannon Yard. So I appreciate that. But the Orioles, man, they got to get some stars here, man. They got to find a way to get some stars here. They got to spend some money. They gotta do some things, man. If they ever want to get back to being on top of the baseball chain, because it's been a very long time since they've been competitive. I mean, probably almost 10 years now since they, made the playoffs, or at least 8 to 10 years. But man, yeah, man, it's gonna be a long season for them. I'm with Dre with the Yankees. I don't think that it doesn't matter what they do. I think they're always gonna find a way to be competitive or on top because they're the Yankees and they're never going to fall off. The Boston Red Sox also as well. I think they're going to be very competitive this year. And and the Atlanta Braves, although Freddie Freeman is gone from this squad, I still think they're going to be a very, very good team to deal with. So we shall see what they do as well. But as a Baltimorean, man, and having to see the Orioles every day struggle and lose, it's just going to be. I mean, I don't want them to. Don't get me wrong. I don't want them to lose. I want them to actually win. Mm-hmm. I do want the Orioles to win. I want them to have a great season because that only uplifts the city and it only brings more excitement to everybody. That is an Orioles fan like you, Byron. But I don't know, man. They got to get their stuff together. But we'll see what happens during the season. I'm pretty sure we'll be, talking about more of this stuff as the season continues.
I did a video. I did a more in-depth video if you want more Orioles coverage. I broke it down for almost 20 minutes talking about it's about the future. So if you want to see that video, just go to the page.
Yes, make sure y'all like our videos and check out the great work that the gentlemen have been doing. But let me ask our host real quick. The Orioles have Adley Rutschman. What are your thoughts about him? I know he's still green and he's not quite ready yet, but let me ask you about him and our pitcher who is from Baltimore and he's a starter for our team.
Well, Adley Rutschman, number 1 prospect in baseball, if you don't know, but he's hurt. And being a Baltimore sports fan, not even with just the Orioles, but with the Ravens, we know about number 1 picks being hurt. So, unfortunately, we don't want him to become a hurt guy. But when you play the catcher position, it's the most strenuous position in sports potentially with the bending and reaching and still having to hit and play the field. So, he's 25. He's young. But we really don't know what we have in these prospects until we see him because how many times have you seen a number 1 pick in baseball that just becomes a bust? It happens more than that. I mean, outside of King Griffey Jr., Bryce Harper, maybe David Price, off the top of my head, those are number 1 picks that really panned out. Other than that, a lot of guys fall by the wayside, unfortunately. But He looks to be the best prospect we've seen since probably Machado or Matt Wieters, depending on who you ask. They got some pitchers as well. Grayson Rodriguez, Gale Hall, who should be pretty good. But Bruce Zimmerman, he pitched today, got the win. He's from here, so good job by him. But it's really going to come down to pitching, as you said, Dre. I mean, pitching isn't really good. They could still trade some pieces before the trade deadline. I don't expect them to be that good. If they win 60 games, I'll be happy. I think the over-under is 61.5 if you're betting on it. I had them at 60 wins, 60 and 102, as I said in my preview. But I think August and September will be the key of the season to see how these prospects play in the latter part of the season against playoff teams night in and night out. And I think they'll play decent and competitive. And I think that's when you'll start to see, hopefully, them, as you say, see a glimmer of light. Crevonte, I got to ask you real quick about your Nationals. Go ahead, Dre. I don't want to cut you off.
I was going to say I spoke to Sean Yo's friend of the show earlier today, and he just gave up hope with the Orioles.
I will say this though, if you want a deal, they are doing the same prices. The 30th year of Camden Yards, they're doing prices of 1992, so you can get cheap tickets, affordable food. I think it's through the 17th. So if you want a cheap date, go down to Camden Yards, the best baseball stadium in all the land, celebrating 30 years. Go get those cheap ticket prices between like 1992 and back when the team was good, and reminisce because they ain't gonna be good this year. But go ahead, Crevonte. Any thoughts on the Nationals real quick?
It's going to be a down year. Giving up Trey Turner and Max Scherzer was like kind of telling last year. It's like, oh boy, they go as Dre always puts, so eloquently puts, blow it up, and that's what they did last year. And so I don't have crazy high hopes this year. Like I was telling you before, got a championship out of it, baby. I'll be on cloud 9 for a couple years before you know what I'm saying, before we got to reboot, because I mean it was, you know, right before the pandemic, you know what I'm saying, they won the World Series as well. So I'll be high on that for a little bit, and I'll just ride whatever cloud it ain't cloud 9, but it's about cloud maybe 6 or 5 or 6 or whatever. Juan Soto, also what was very telling is that Juan Soto did not extend with the Nationals. We haven't had the best luck with keeping superstars, but it's also worked out in our favor of winning. So it's like, I don't know. I don't like letting superstars walk out, especially when they're young. But Juan Soto not taking the extension is kind of telling. So he will be a free agent at the end of this year. And I'm scared he's going to get the bag and go elsewhere. And we really don't have the team to do well without him. You know what I'm saying? But with Trey Turner and Max Scherzer and Strasburg, you know, at least we had the pitching and we was all right everywhere else. But now Max Scherzer goes to the Mets, and, you know, of course, Bryce Harper is with the Phillies. Trey Turner, he went to the juggernaut, the LA Dodgers. So it's like, damn it. All right. Well, go ahead, Dodgers. Y'all got it. Y'all go ahead, fight it out. The Dodgers are the clear favorite. They keep retooling, getting better at pitching, get better in the outfield, get better at hitting. They keep doing it. It's like the Yankees and the Dodgers had the same MO, especially in baseball. Same MO. We're gonna buy this thing because they got it. Because they got it to buy. So Nationals, I don't have any high hopes. I'm actually looking at the Mets. I was about to say, Dre, look across town. If DeGrom's health is really going to determine how well and how far the Mets can potentially go. Because DeGrom, I think, was the best pitcher when healthy. DeGrom is probably the best pitcher in the MLB. But he has shoulder problems, and I think that's arguably the worst. That's arguably the worst injury you could have pitching, is that shoulder and that elbow. And he has that. So them getting Max Scherzer, I was thinking it was a re-up, but it looks like more of an insurance policy, if anything. So I don't foresee the Mets giving up a lot of runs this year, but you got to have a nice mixture of pitching and the bats. So Defensively, I think the Mets will be on top of the game. Well, pitching wise, they'll be on top of the game. As far as bats, it'll probably be hit and miss.
All right.
Well said.
Well, Byron, I believe, had to take a extensive, quick break, but
He left the
I
chat.
think we're almost at the end of the show anyway. So, I guess we can get right into,
It's time.
Goofies of the week. So, Crevonte, just let us know.
Word. Let's do this damn
What
thing.
did you think was goofy this week?
Appreciate you, Raj. Welcome, good people, to Goofies of the Week, sponsored by the Flex Zone. Appreciate you guys for giving me a little bit of time for what I thought was goofy this week, and it was one that's glaring. But first, Byron always reminds me. For those that don't know, I have 2 levels of goofy. We have Jet Green, which is always relevant. Those are my funny goofies. Those are my ha. These guys are stupid goofies. But the egregious level goofiness is I'm Falcon Red, which is always, again, very relevant no matter what season we're in. This is the egregious goofy, like out of line, you went too far. Somehow, some way, somebody got to pull you back in. So yeah, those are my levels. And this one is Falcon Red. It's not even close.
Oh, Lord.
We all heard of the recent passing of Dwayne Haskins this past Saturday morning, I believe. And obviously a tragedy, very devastating. Just all around, suddenness, pain, shock, a lot of emotion going on. And here comes Mr. Goofy, Sir Goose-a-lot, Adam Scheffner, tweeting, which he has not been doing too well as of late. And I have a quote from a tweet that was obviously deleted after he saw the backlash, but this is what it says, and I quote from Adam Scheffner's Twitter account: Dwayne Haskins, a standout at Ohio State before becoming Washington's first-round pick and playing in Pittsburgh, died this morning when he got hit by a car in South Florida, per Cedric Saunders. Let me see. I gotta go somewhere else because I got a couple articles where he just was wilding. And also Lamar Jackson also said something. I was gonna read off Lamar Jackson tweets as well. 1 second. So basically, okay, here we go. Dwayne Haskins, a standout Ohio State, before struggling to catch on with Washington and Pittsburgh in the NFL. Died this morning when he got hit by a car in South Florida. Okay. Could have went over people's heads, but I think it's very, 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 very insensitive of him to point out that he was struggling at any point in his career before saying the man died. And I was talking to you guys before we got on, basically saying like, yo, this isn't the first time he's done this. Then he had to walk back some tweets or whatever messages he puts out. This isn't the first time he had to walk something back. And I believe he did have an apology earlier today, but not really trying to hear it. I feel like once somebody dies, especially as tragic and as devastating, as shocking as this was, you need to be very, very, very sensitive with your words and how you present information, especially when you still represent basically NFL and ESPN, unless you're telling me that's what they're pushing. And I hate to believe that after all we've been through with this good goddamn NFL, that this is what they're pushing. Adam Scheffner's again, tweets very, very, very insensitive, and it's always telling when a celebrity posts something and then turns around and deletes it. Usually it was in bad taste. But I have a couple tweets I want to read off from folks that had some things to say in regards to what Adam Schefter said. And here goes my man Lamar Jackson. At Adam Schefter, you lame ASF. All around grown ass man and can look in the mirror and smile at yourself. Another tweet, somebody tweeted, he ain't even trying to apologize either. Just delete it and tweet it again. So basically, he shifted the tweet. He basically took out the word struggling and like tried to revamp it. And Lamar also responds to that and says he never does. Cardell Jones, after he caught the struggling tweet, he said, "How about Dwayne Haskins' son, husband, Buckeye brother, friend, beloved teammate has passed away? TF, y'all know what that means. His career ups and downs have to do with him, unfortunately, losing his life. STFU, let his family and friends grieve instead of throwing shade, praying for the Haskins family." Des Bryant, athletes for the record, and I quote, "The shit Adam Schefter wrote, that's how a lot of people view us. We ain't shit but entertainment. If you let one treat you with disrespect, the rest will follow." And of course, last but not least, Rashad Bateman came in and he was saying, "You lame, Adam Schefter, give the dude name some respect." So obviously, everybody's pretty much behind Dwayne Haskins, and at this point, you should be. He's gone from this world and can't defend himself, and now this guy's out here talking trash. Like, this is the last thing anybody wants to hear that was remotely related to, and loved, liked, or was a fan of Dwayne Haskins. I think something needs to come down on Adam Schefter, whether it be from the NFL or ESPN, because he can't keep getting away with this and just deleting it and revamping it. Like, we see you, bro. And I don't know. Ever since he did that stupid gritty dance and tore his Achilles, he been getting worse. But again, like I said earlier, prayers and condolences to Dwayne Haskins family. I hate that they have to endure things like what Adam Schefter said so early in the grieving process. I mean, funeral arrangements haven't even been made, and he's talking reckless about his young brother, and absolutely out of line. And something needs to happen. Some type of suspension or leave or something. Something has to happen, because he can't keep getting away with this. And as a journalist, that's a slap in the face to the people that do that for real as a full-time job. That's a slap in the face. As it seems like as time goes on, people are more worried about making the news instead of properly reporting the news. And I hate the way this is going. So yeah, that's my spiel. Definitely Falcon Red for Adam Schefter. And my line, as always, there's a thin line between goofy and great, and Adam Schefter is for sure on the goofy side of this. Got to do better.
Unfortunately, I don't see them doing anything to him, Crevonte. He gives him too much information. He's like the shade room for NFL.
And plus, the draft is coming up.
It's a damn shame.
I'm about to say that was the major factor of the draft. They're gonna need him.
Yeah.
So,
well, let us know your thoughts on Crevonte's Goofies of the Week. Dre, episode 339. Or what a time. What can the people expect next week?
I feel like we'll talk about more baseball as things open up, and of course we're going to get into the NBA playoffs. By then it should be the 8th. So definitely it'll be a Major League Baseball and the NBA pack show next week.
Let the people know how to keep up with you each and every morning on WEAA. Start your day with a cup of drink.
Yes, you can see you can listen to me every Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Right there on WEAA. I do the Flex Zone Sports Report on it as well. So make sure y'all stay tuned.
Right. So let the people know how to keep up with us on YouTube and the videos we got going on and coming out, and how can you donate?
Well, first of all, I want to say shout out to Tiger Woods for making his return at the Masters.
Yes.
Didn't know if this brother was ever going to come back and play again, but so happy to see him return. So happy that the crowd was giving him so much love, because he deserves it, man. I know we talked a lot of stuff about him, about the documentary that came out on HBO, but I mean, we deep down we love that brother. So I'm so glad that he's able to continue to keep playing and doing this thing. But you can catch us, of course, on the Flex Zone podcast on YouTube. Subscribe to the bell notifications, and check us out on Facebook at the Flex Zone 1, and on Twitter and Instagram, the same thing, the Flex Zone. We got some great content coming up. Crevonte and Byron's going to be doing some draft coverage. I can't wait to see what they do. It's going to be lit. So just check those videos out as they, hit the YouTubes. It's gonna be good, some good stuff, man. Especially for all the guys that are heavy into the NFL draft. They're gonna love what they see.
Make sure if you want to donate cash to the Flex on One, senior producer Crevonte Hurd, Andre Melton, executive producer, Rise, social media extraordinaire, social media producer, the Flex Zone podcast, the only place fellas giving you sports how you want it.
When you need it.
As we said, next week, NBA playoffs, more MLB, and whatever else happens, especially when we get goofy with Crevonte. Hit that like button. Comment down below your thoughts on Frank Vogel, Dwayne Haskins, NBA playoffs, Adam Schefter's Goofy of the Week, and who you think the next coach of the Lakers could be. Maybe that'll be a video you'll see this week by one of us who should be the next coach. List some candidates and get your thoughts. Again, theflexzone1@gmail.com, #the Flex-on-1. We'll be back next week for episode 339, but stay tuned to the YouTube, hit that bell for all notifications. For Raj, for Crevonte, and for Dre, we gone. Peace.
Peace. See y'all guys later.